What's up, guys? Welcome back to your JavaScript series brought to you by Constructor. In case you skipped the previous episode and bumped into this one, I experiment on Nicletus, your instructor. Alright, so in this episode 28, we'll try to look at the second way of creating objects using the constructor pattern. The name constructor pattern came as a result of we trying to create a constructor function in JavaScript. We are going to try to create a constructor function, and why we call it constructor function is that it will help us to construct our properties and our method. It's going to hold our properties and our method. Then we can inherit from it by using the new operator and create objects, you understand? So we can create multiple objects from our constructor function. Don't worry, it's very difficult to explain. We'll go into that later. So why we actually have the constructor function and not just go ahead using the literary notation pattern, that is the one we did in the first episode where we try to create objects using the literary notation pattern or the object initializer. So if you check this code very well, we're like personalizing a lot of things, especially for each object. So you see, for this object now, it was just bearing john.name, john.salary, john.bonus, jane.name, jane.salary, jane.bonus. We're just like personalizing a lot of things, which is very bad. So constructor function basically conveys the object-oriented programming concept. And why we have the object-oriented programming concept is to be able to reuse a particular class that have been created or a function that have been created over and over again without trying to repeat yourself. So that is why we basically need it. If you check this code now, it is quickie, not clean at all. So let's try to do this by creating a constructor function and use the constructor pattern that we've said earlier. So we are going to try to create a program for employees of a company. We'll still try to use that same example, but this time around it's going to be a constructor function pattern procedure, understand? So let me clear this off. And what we'll try to do is to create our function first, and this function is going to get a name employee, and then open our curly braces like this. Then what is going to hold three parameters: name, salary, and bonus. So just like we did in the previous episode, it's going to hold three parameters. So this dot name, these are the properties we are trying to define now. So this dot name is equal to name, this dot salary is equal to salary, this dot bonus is equal to bonus. Alright, so let me stop here and explain something. Now in programming as a whole, not only in JavaScript, when you are trying to create a class, in this case this is our class. Please don't forget, the constructor function here in this case is acting as our class. So if you're trying to create a class in any programming language, please make sure that the identifier of that class should begin with a capital letter. What am I trying to say in essence? This is the identifier of this function or of this class. By that I mean the name of the function. So the name of this function or this class should begin with a capital letter. Why we do that is because we want to be able to tell other programmers that this is a class and not a method or a function, you understand? So we try to distinguish a class from a method by making the first letter of the identifier a capital letter, you understand? So you begin with a capital letter, an uppercase letter, you understand? So that's it. And don't worry about this operator. I'll explain when I finish typing the properties and the method. For now, these are the three properties that we need for this. So I'll go ahead and define the method now. This dot get total pay, because what we're trying to do is to have a method that will sum up salary and bonus for us. So we'll say get total pay is equal to function. And now this method can now do what? First of all, let's give it a parameter. So say total pay. So we say total pay is equal to, sorry, this is supposed to be a, okay, total pay, I think I spelled that correctly, this dot salary plus this dot bonus. Okay, now let me explain this operator before we continue. Alright, the this operator is serving as a placeholder for our object. What do I mean by that? Instead of me coming here to say john.name, john.salary, john.bonus, I'm personalizing this class for God's sake, and we won't be able to use it for Jane and the rest employee, you understand? We don't want to personalize this. We want this particular constructor function to be used by different operators. So this operator is serving as a placeholder for our object, you understand? So you get to understand when I finish coding. All right, now this is our properties and this is our method that will just simply sum up what the salary and bonus from here. I think I'm still making this mistake. It's total pay, right? Alright, so alright. Now, what we'll try to do now is to create our object now that we have our constructor function. So what I'll just do is to come down here and I think I'll just say var John is equal to new. Don't worry, I'll explain this code. New employee, and then we can come here and now give the values to these parameters. So here I'll say John Hart, 5,000, 500.5. Alright, so now we'll now call this method for John. So I'll say John dot get total pay. Understand? So what have I just done here? But John, with the help of this magical keyword here, is an operator actually. We call the new operator. So with the help of this magical keyword here, we'll inherit all the properties and method defined inside this class called employee. So with the help of this new, this is a keyword in JavaScript which simply says, please John, inherit all the properties and method from this name employee. And it will just go here and say, okay, these are the properties and these are the methods. So John can use this method now. So then that's why we are able to use this method, get total pay. And that's just how to inherit the properties and method. Let me just put inherit like that. That's why we are able to inherit the properties and method from this class. Understand? So now if I save this and we come back here and okay, I think, okay, sorry, I need to go to the log. No, this time around I'll just do document.write the total pay for, and I'll just concatenate this with this dot name, this, and we'll also concatenate this with this. So now while we have this parameter is to hold the solution from here. So we can now copy the total pay and paste it here and we save. So we can now document.write this. So once I do this, I should, hopefully I'm getting an error. What's the error? Okay, let's check. So oh, I think I've seen that. Oh, sorry for that mistake. I think we were supposed to assign this operator to this. So say var John is equal to new employee. Understand? That's how it goes. Sorry for that mistake. So save this and come back and refresh. So we should have something like this. The total pay for John Hart is 5,500.5. Understand? Sorry, I think there should be a space here. So let me save and come back and refresh. So the total pay for John Hart is 5,500.5. I think you see how it goes now. Now to prove to you that the constructor pattern is better than the literary notation pattern, if I want to do this for Jane, I don't need to go ahead to start defining another properties, same properties and method for Jane again. All I need to do is to come down here and also declare this same object. So var Jane is equal to new. With the help of the new keyword, I can now inherit all the things inside the employee class. So employee, and I can just come here and say Jane Smith, comma, let me say 4,400, and here I can now call Jane dot get to pay. I think I need to do something here. All I need to do now is to just use the list tag, and we come back here and you refresh. You should see this now. Okay, so we have the total pay for John Hart is $5,500.5, and the total pay for Jane Smith is $4,400. I think you see how simple it is. Please try and compare this with the previous literary notation pattern that we did earlier. Now you now see the one that is more efficient, and that's why we now have the constructor pattern to do the work for us. So with the help of this constructor function, we can now have our objects. Alright, so let's say Jane is someone that like getting loan from this company all the time. If I want to pay Jane at the end of the month, we need to deduct the loan amount that she borrowed from this company, understand, before giving her the total amount. So what we need to do is to come up here and declare another property. We say loan is equal to loan, you understand? You do this. We have another method. So what I'm going to do now is to come down here and say this dot after loan is equal to a function Let me also have another parameter, total pay. Let me have it as total pay, and I can come down here and say total pay is equal to this dot salary plus this dot bonus. Understand? And let me put this in parentheses minus this dot loan. I believe you get this. You are getting the logic, right? So then we can now come down here and say document the right, and I also have a list tag li, and I can say the total pay for this dot name after loan is, then I'll concatenate this with total pay. Okay, so I need to give our constructor function another parameter. Come here and say loan, and that's the loan we just defined here. You understand? So what I need to do now is to come here and say the loan got from the bank is something like $200. So after doing this, I think what we need to do is to also call this method for Jane. So depending on who calls it, so since it's Jane that borrowed this loan from the company, we can now call this method for Jane also, Jane.after loan, and we save this and we come back here, we refresh. So we have the total pay for Jane Smith after loan is 4,200. So I think something happened. Okay, I'm supposed to give this a space, and we come back here and we refresh. So we have the total pay for Jane Smith after loan is 4,200. So you see, we have just tried to replicate what we did in the literary notation pattern using the constructor pattern, but you see that we have a very clean and efficient code here, a reusable code, where we can have another object to inherit the properties and method from this employee constructor function or employee class. Sorry, I'm calling it a class, but in JavaScript we don't have class, so we can now call it constructor function. The main concept of object-oriented programming has been displayed here, and that's it for this tutorial. I believe you understood what we did here. Do I need to make any recap again? No, I don't want to make this tutorial very bulky. Just try to do other things, and you can get the source code to each episode in the description box below. In our next tutorial, we'll try to create objects using the prototype pattern and the dynamic prototype pattern, which is also very interesting, and there you will know how all these modules and libraries are being created. You understand? So they are all good, but generally we use the constructor pattern. So I'll still need to teach you the prototype pattern and the dynamic prototype pattern to make you very versatile in creating objects, because I told you guys we are going to take object-oriented programming to the depth. So this is it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you really like something from this video, click on that like button below and make sure you subscribe.